Welcome back to the Carp Hunt, everybody. Yeah, for this session we've got a good one. We're out in France. We're over at Tranquility Lakes. With coming from the island, we did have a hell of a long journey ahead of us. So we're currently on Sunday now. We've actually got here yesterday, but with everything going on, there was a lot doing yesterday, getting all set up, things like that. So I did get the rods out last night, but yeah, just put them in open water just to sort of gauge what to do today. But yeah, we made the long journey. Well, we came from the Isle of Wight on Friday, stayed in a hotel in Folkestone, and then we got an early shuttle over into Calais. It's 3.5 hour drive then down to I think it's pronounced Mouzon or something like that, but yeah, we're at Tranquility Lakes. It's about an 8 acre lake. Stocks about 180 fish. Yeah, most of it's 6 swims, and we have got it fully booked for this session. There's 6 of us on here, some friends, and there's a family member as well on this session. But yeah, so with the added pressure on the lake, with it being a full lake, it might knock the fishing on the head a little bit, but I'm sure a couple of us will catch some fish this week. Like I say, it's all fishing from the one bank, and there's an island in the middle that separates it all. So yeah, and it's pretty much all fishing to the far margin from what we've come to believe. But yeah, we got here yesterday. We arrived at about 2 o'clock, I think it was. Got everything, so we all did the drawing. I came out first in the draw as well, which was good. And then going on from the catch report from the previous week, the swim I'm in did 8 fish. There was a swim the other end of the lake. There was 2 lads doubled up in that swim. They had 7 fish, and then one in the middle, he had 3 fish. So yeah, I kind of had in mind with 6 anglers going to be on the lake that 1 and 6 would be probably the more favourable swims. As with all that pressure, I reckon it's gonna push the fish over towards them far margins most likely anyway, and around the edges. So yeah, I had 1 and 6 in mind, and then with 6 doing 8 fish for the week. There was I think they had 17 fish or something between them. But yeah, it seemed like a no-brainer really. So yeah, what I did when I got in the swim yesterday was I just went around the far margins with just a little bit of a leading rod, had a little investigation of them, because obviously in a place like this where everyone's set up on the one bank, most people are going to put their rods over towards that far margin. So that's where most of the bait's going to be seen in this lake. So I thought, get around there first, try and locate a couple of spots in the areas, and I found a couple of nice areas and put a bit of bait on them for the night. I've got like a right hand margin as well, because I'm at the end of the lake, so obviously I've got that right hand bank. I've had a little investigation there as well. I found a nice little spot sort of around the middle of that area again, but with what you've got the margins probably about 4 to 6 foot range, not massive shells, but they're a good 3-4 foot shell foot you can present, and then it slopes down to about 12 foot, and out in front of me it's between 12 to 14 foot. So yeah, I put a bit of bait on them spots, but for last night I just wanted to get the rods out. It took a long time getting everything set up and sorted. We're here for a week, so you do bring the kitchen sink on these trips. So what I did was I've got 1 at 50 yards, 1 at 60 yards, and then 1 over towards that right hand bank that I just mentioned. Yeah, and I had a little catfish last night. It was about 15-pound catfish last night. The owner did tell us that if we catch any catch, retain them and he'll get them, because basically they're flooded in from the river behind. But for some reason I thought he said anything over £10, under £10, they're coming out, and whatever is staying in. But no, it wasn't. It was all of them have to come out. So if I catch any more, we will be getting them out. But I didn't get any footage of that. I took a little clip on my phone of that last night. It's 3:30 in the morning. I was absolutely shattered as well, but just unhooked that one and slipped it back. And yeah, but to hear them alarms going on the first night, got the old heart rate racing a little bit, and yeah, I thought, yes, here we go, first night, we're into a carp, but no, it turned out to be a catfish, sadly. But it showed that, that area there where I presented the bait was fishable. It's caught a fish on there. So I think for the rest of the session, I will persist maybe with 1 in the open. I've got like a little it's only off the TikTok shop, a little underwater camera, so I've managed to connect that to my marker rod, and then you can just drop it out over the spots then. So I've had a little look over my spots over on the far margin where I put a bit of bait on last night. The bait is still there, but it was quite late, and it seems like most likely it's more day bites as well, so there might not have been amongst them spots yet. So I'm going to persist today with fishing the open water. I'll check them spots again tomorrow, and if the bait's been cleared, then I'll put a bait over them. But I'm not going to fish that far margin until I see that bait's been eaten. I don't think there's any. The bait's going to be sat there day after day. There's no point in keep bait boating out there and then putting bait in it each time, topping it up, and there's no fish been feeding there. So we're just going to play it by ear. Like I say, we're on Sunday now. Plenty of time ahead of us. So we'll see what happens for the week. But for now, we're going to leave it there. Yeah, I'll keep you updated with anything that's going on, and if the other lads are in there if they catch any fish or whatever, if they want to jump on the vlog, hopefully we'll put them in the vlog as well, and yeah, we can see some chunks this week on the bank. Tight lines.
Don't look down.
Well, it's been another long day again today. Currently on 6 p.m. now, and the rods have not been out for very long. So reeled in this morning, went and had a little chat with all the other lads, see how they've been getting on, see what they've been up to. Had a little catch up with my uncle. So I'm in peg 6, he's in peg 1, and obviously he lives up in Birmingham. I live on the Isle of Wight, so we don't see each other that much anyway. So yeah, this session I will be reeling in and going in and having a bit of a social with him from time to time. But yeah, so went and had a chat with him, helped him out with his swim a little bit as well, and then yeah, returned back to my swim. And the hard work for the day began. Like I say, getting here yesterday, it was just kind of just, not pub chucking because I was using the boat, but yeah, randomly putting the boat, like, open water, just put 3 rods out last night. And yeah, just seeing what happened. So yeah, now I've been able to actually get at the swim a bit better today. Been around all the margins, found some really nice spots. One of them was a really, really nice clay area. A lot of it around the, because as you can see, there's a lot of tree lines around the lake, so it's a lot of sticks, a lot of leaves, all around the edges, all around the margins. But I've got a little it's only a TikTok shop count underwater camera, but they're cracking little bit of kit for only £38. I think that cost me. And yeah, for that money, it's cracking. All I've done was literally use my marker rod, threaded it through the end, looped it in, and just had it hanging like about 6 foot from off the end, just literally just so I could look through the margins. And I took they've got a little ball in them that keeps them upright, so I took that out so it's looking downwards, so I can then just hover it over spots and have a little look. And yeah, there was a lot of it that was like leaf debris and everything like that there, but yeah, I found some really nice spots with it as well. But yeah, I've got one sort of like over to the right hand side bank in the middle over there, which I filmed a little bit of the footage of that there. So yeah, I've got that in there. The thing is, it's a bit difficult to see it from here, getting an all-on marker and stuff like that. So what I did was went round there, waded in, put my landing net pole into the water, bait boated over to the landing net pole, just dropped the bare lead there, put that in the clip, wrapped it out, and then I've got my skyline marker to that then as well. So yeah, I can get that back out accurately on the spot every time. And I did pretty much similar over the far margin here over my shoulder. I've done 2 rods over to there. Put a little bit of bait on it last night, and I used the underwater camera yesterday when I got it, but I just flicked it out because you can just throw them out and drag them back. And I did that yesterday in the margins up there. But obviously, when you're holding it bird's eye view over it, you get to see a lot more. So yeah, I thought I'd found a really nice area over there yesterday, which it was. You know, it was very presentable. It was about 3 foot, 3.5 foot. Put a bit of bait on it, and I checked it with the underwater camera today, and that bait was still there. But then when I went back around this afternoon, I did that over the right hand margin, the far right hand bank there, with using the marker rod, and I'm doing it through the bird's eye view. I thought I'll go around and do that round there just to double check. And I was going over the spot where I put the baits, and as I've moved it to the left, it was starting to slope away, sort of not going off down into the deep holder, but it was just going off to the side of it, so along the margin more. So yeah, I just followed it around a little bit more there, and it dropped down to about 6 foot. And then yeah, there was a massive clay hole there. It's quite a big area, probably the size of a bivvy area, this clay hole is. So I've managed to sort of walk around the edge of it then with my landing net pole, having a good prod around, and I stuck it in there as well, and yeah, it came back lovely sticky clay. And just on the outside of that then as well, there's like an overhanging tree. This tree that's over here, this little bush there, I've got one in there as well. So there's like a gravel patch in here, and then just further back here, that's where the clay spot is. So yeah, the clay finishes and it goes back into gravel, but at that same depth as well. So I've basically put my eggs into sort of one basket as such. But yeah, I'm fishing 2 rods over there, one over to the right hand bank. If I see anything else throughout the week, you know, we're only on Sunday now, we've got until Saturday morning, so we've got a good 6 nights ahead of us still. If the fish are showing in the middle, constantly fizzing up, then obviously I can drop a rod back from there. But yeah, it's obvious that when everyone's fishing from this one bank, pretty much all the fishing is going to be done over to that far margin. You can pretty much say that that's the main area that gets baited on the lake, so wherever they're going to get him be fed, that's probably where they're going to be, and the line pressure is going to push them to that part of the lake as well. So that's my thinking in that. We'll see how it goes throughout the session. But yeah, upon getting the rods out, it was finally time to sit down and take a breather. And yeah, I had a lovely baguette with some nice ham and cheese in there. Managed to actually speak to the wife as well, because I've been non-stop since I've got here. Literally, it feels like I've been hard at work, definitely. But you know, you've got to get all this hard work done at the start of these sessions, because like I did yesterday, I found them spots, thought lovely, checked them again this morning, was happy with them. But then when I've jumped in there and done a little bit of further investigation, I found something that's even like 10 times better than the spot I was going to fish. So yeah, it just shows that a bit of hard work at the start of the session. You know, you don't want to be doing that 4 days in and then thinking, oh no, my spots are blown, I don't like them, I put too much bait on them, and then you've got to try and establish something else midweek, and yeah, you can just end up chasing your tail throughout the whole week. But yeah, even though this is my only second trip out into France, my first trip was, I think it was 2 years ago now, I went to a place called Lac de Butte, and that was a bit more of a run to what, you know, it was 2 acres, fairly 6 foot deepest end, 4 foot was the shallow end kind of thing, and quite a few fish in there, but there was some real nice fish in there still, so it was a good place to come and wet your teeth out in France. But yeah, now, you know, there's a lad that's on here with us, Paul. He's fished here 3 times, and he says it can be very, very difficult. Like I say, it's only 8 acres, it's not massive, but yeah, it's 180 fish. So, but yeah, it's absolutely, as you can see over my shoulder now, that view is just spectacular. I've had the drone up today as well and got some footage and that. I don't really use it to find fish or anything like that, because the last time I did that I clipped a tree and lost my old drone. So I try to just now really just get it up in the air, get some aerial shots, you know, and just, especially with this kind of lake, there is big trees all the way around it, and they overhang really far, well past where the marginal shelf is. So, you know, there's no point in trying to have scam around them areas to see if I can find some fish on there. But yeah, just mainly got it just for obviously the cinema value that it brings to the vlog. So yeah, hopefully you all enjoy that as well. There's a river just over the back of us here, and seeing that, it's absolutely spectacular as well. A couple more lakes, I think they're on a different site as well that I clapped on the drone up there. But yeah, it's all sinking in a little bit now. It's finally time to sit down. I've got the spots, everything's set, the house is all set, I'm all organised. So yeah, now it's time to just sit back, chill, relax and enjoy this week here in France. And hopefully we'll show you a carp or two along the way. Tight lines. Good morning, carpers. We are currently on 8:30, and it was a very, very quiet night last night. I've just checked in with all the other lads as well, and they've said the same. They haven't really had a bleep, to be fair. Dan, who's in peg next to me, says he had one crash out about 10 o'clock last night, but yeah, I haven't really heard too much, seen too much. I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning as well. Just stood outside watching the water, and yeah, I haven't really seen anything. It's been hard because literally it's this mist that's on the water now. It's cleared a fair bit, but you couldn't see the tree line this morning when I was stood outside, so I was really just trying to listen for anything. But yeah, it was very, very quiet. Temperatures came down a little bit last night, weren't too bad, you know, it's still warm enough in the sleeping bag, but yeah, it's pretty chilly this morning as well. My hands are freezing cold at the minute. But yeah, sort of plan of action is today we'll see at the morning bite time, because the owner did say bite times are really between like 3 o'clock and then, you know, your morning bite time, then 3 o'clock in the morning till about 10 o'clock 11 o'clock on the morning. So idea is I'm going to reel in probably for about 11 today, go and get a shower. That's what they have got here as well. They've got a toilet shower block kind of thing. There's 2 toilets, 2 showers in there. There's like a cabin as well, where you can go. They do breakfast and evening meals there. You have to pre-book if you want the meal plan on here, but yeah, 4 of the lads have. I haven't bothered, I just prefer to cook my own bit of food that I want in the mornings. And then yeah, I haven't got to actually reel in at times where I feel like I might have a bite and stuff like that. So yeah, it's like, I think the breakfast time is 9 or half 9, and yeah, from what he was saying, that can be a good time for a bite. So the last thing I want to do is really, and you can have a breakfast but get delivered to the swim though, so I'll probably do that 1 or 2 times this week. You actually pay for that the night before. But yeah, I think I'll reel in about 11 o'clock today, go and grab a shower, have a freshen up and that, and yeah, then get back to the swim and get the rods out, have a little chat with all the other lads as well. But yeah, then come back, get the rods out, and settle in for the rest of the day and the evening. Hopefully I can get them rods. You know, this is the first morning that I've been able to actually fish the whole morning. You know, we didn't get here till 2 o'clock Saturday. Sunday, I'd reeled in about 8:30. I know I only had 2 rods fishing then anyway, but they were, like I say, was just randomly placed out in the swim just on the off chance of picking up one. Yeah, so then obviously did all the work in the swim yesterday. So yeah, today is the first day really where we're actually properly fishing, you know, and we aren't making any disturbance in the swim now. So hopefully it settles down a little bit, and yeah, the fish will probably feel a bit more at ease and maybe get on the bait a little bit. But yeah, well, we'll reel in, have a shower. I'll probably get some footage of all the facilities and things like that as well, so add to the vlog. Yeah, so you can see what it's about here a bit. But yeah, it's an absolutely stunning venue, absolutely amazing place. Yeah, just hopefully a few fish will grace the bank. But yeah, that's the plan of action for today. Hopefully we land a fish before hopefully reeling in, and yeah, the next time you see me might be holding a nice big French stunner. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
All I want for somebody to see me. Yeah, yeah. Anyone with 2 eyes will do just fine, 'cause I'm reckless. It's getting kind of desperate. Can't help but feeling helpless when it comes to love. Don't know who I am without someone by my side, and why I don't care about what they like. Honestly, it's hard to be so easily attached. I look into a crowd and love whoever's looking back. Always got my heart on sale, my body's like an outlet, never mind my words. Honestly, it's hard to be so easily attached. I fall just like that. I'm too good for my own good. Yeah, yeah, I'll be there in a minute.
So we're currently on 5:30 p.m. I reeled my rods in earlier on, about half 11 it was, and yeah, went down and had a shower, and yeah, it was a great shower as well. Really good facilities they've got on site here. It was a nice powerful shower, nice and hot as well, so yeah, it's exactly what you need when you're out on the bank for a long session. But yeah, other than that, I didn't really do too much today. So I went around and checked the spots, because last night when I got them rods out, I felt to myself, when I seen it going in, I thought it looked like it went in a bit too far, and I thought I got my wraps muddled up a little bit, which I kind of did, which was a big mess up on my part, to be fair. When I seen it when it went out yesterday, I should have sort of checked and redid it really, but no, bad angling on my part. I didn't. I was just like, yeah, that'll do, it's fine. Looked all I like, because it's near enough 100 yards across to there with a little ridge monkey bait boat. It's quite difficult to see anyway, so I just thought, oh, it's just because it's the small boat, it probably gone down for, you know, I felt a little drop on it as well. But yeah, I took the underwater camera around there, and having a little investigated after my shower, and I found my little patch of bait, and it was literally like within feet of the bank, about a foot, 2 foot. But yeah, you've only got about 1.5 foot, 2 foot of water there, and then you get a little bit further out and you've got like 4, and then down to about 6 foot is like just gradual. So yeah, I definitely wasn't presenting right last night at all. So managed to redo all of that now, got them back out over there. I've had a little check on it as well, and yeah, it's sitting absolutely plumb perfect. So if any carp come across that now tonight, then hopefully we'll get a bite. The only thing is that's killing it a little bit at the minute is the pressure. The pressure's gone sky high. They had really low pressure last week. I thought they had similar conditions, but apparently no, they had low pressure, fair bit of rain and that as well. So yeah, really switched them on. There was fizzing up in this swim out in front of him. There was fizzing up down the other end. There was like a dolphin show apparently. So yeah, it's contrast to that this week. We've had clear blue skies throughout the daytime at the minute. 18 degrees temperatures, dropping down to 4 or 5 degrees throughout the night, so it's not really the greatest conditions. I don't know if you can hear all that as well. There's like artillery going off over there, and then I've got a tractor going off over there cutting the grass as well. But yeah, it was like warfare out here yesterday afternoon. There was over by the river the other side, apparently they do like duck shooting and things like this, and yeah, it was going on for a good hour, bang bang, and yeah, we thought World War III was kicking off. So no, we're all set for the evening now anyway. I've got 2 rods out on that far margin. One's on the clay sort of spot, and then the other on a gravel spot. And I've moved that right hand on because I wasn't too happy with it. You know, the area's quite tight that I'm trying to get onto, and trying to eye it up from this swim, it's quite difficult. So I'd rather be fishing somewhere presenting perfectly rather than half-arsing it. So what I've done now is I've switched that out to be my left-hand rod and fishing it open, just mid-water. So yeah, we'll see how we get on with that. There has been some fizzing up in the daytime today, sort of about 10 wraps out it was. So yeah, we'll see how that goes with that spot, see if anything develops. But so we've still got 5 nights ahead of us. Them nights can dwindle by so fast though as well, especially when nothing's really happening. Oh, bleep on the middle. I think that was a kingfisher actually. It's just flew. There's 2 kingfishers flying around. But yeah, so we'll see what happens going into this evening now, and hopefully, because I'm presenting that there a bit better for tomorrow morning, hopefully we might get that morning bite time now. But yeah, we've got plenty of time ahead of us. I've actually ordered myself a breakfast baguette for the morning as well, because they can bring one down to the swim. So yeah, I've ordered myself one of them for tomorrow, save me cooking. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. But for now, I think I'm gonna have me coffee. And 2 kingfishers are flying back over again. Bloody hell. Yep, I'll finish a coffee and then I might get myself some food. I've just got myself some burgers for tonight. So yeah, kick back, relax and enjoy the rest of this evening. Tight lines. Morning Carpers, we are currently on 8:30 Tuesday morning, and again not a lot to report last night. Did hear a fair few fish showing out in front of me last night though, so that's a good sign. And Steve's actually had one this morning. He's down in peg 3, other side of the island, and he had one off the far margin, just he's right rod, which is closer towards the island, but yeah, there's a little channel coming through the back and he's had it off that far margin. Nice, I think it was 41 something. But yeah, awesome looking mirror that one was, so fair play to him, well done Steve. But yeah, this morning looks completely different to every other morning we've had. You know, I've woke up, there's not a bit of fog on the lake, it's quite warm. It was warm through the night last night. But every morning, like I say, it sounded like it's raining with all the dew coming off the poplars around me. My bivvy's been soaked. Yeah, everything's bone dry this morning, so it's definitely a completely different day weather-wise for the morning. Like I say, we've heard a lot showing. We just sorted out Steve's fish as well, and yeah, there was a big unshow out there as well, and then one about £15, £20 maybe, something like that, jumped out in the middle. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of activity now. So yeah, hopefully, you know, this morning period, you never know, might produce us a bite this morning. I think I'm going to leave them out today till about 1 o'clock, try and really fish through and stretch it out, because I need to pop to the shop today to go and get some supplies. So yeah, we'll stretch it out as long as we can for this morning bite into the early afternoon, come back, and then what I am going to do is just take the underwater rod, the underwater camera that I've got set up on my marker rod, just have a quick check on them spots just to see if anything's visited through the night, see if, like, you know, the bait's been pretty much demolished, and yeah, they just haven't picked up the hook bait, because then at least I know then I've got to change something. If all the bait's been wiped out, I've definitely got to change something with the hook bait wise or sort of rig wise. I'm pretty confident in my rigs, you know. I take them everywhere I've gone, I've done well fishing it. It's always just 4 ounce inline lead, normal standard rigs that I use, which we'll have a look at some point during the trip, but you know, they're nothing special. It's just a D-rig kicker. The fish straight onto some supple braid, you know, strip back a little bit to give it a little bit more movement. Yeah, so it's nothing special, you know, but it's nice and simple, and it does me well pretty much every lake I go to. So yeah, I kind of believe that with them big inline leads and shortish rigs, you know, about 5-6 inch rigs, as soon as them fish pick up that bait, it comes into contact with that lead, and it does tend to nail them. You're picking it up from the heavier end of the lead, so yeah. But I know we all get done, so I'm not saying that I'll convert every fish that picks up that it's going to be a bite, landed fish, you know, I'm not saying that, but I do have quite high confidence in their rigs. I get a lot of quick bites as well on the lakes back at home, you know, on club waters and things like that.
I'm getting baits out there with like 30 freebies in the boat sort of thing, and yeah, within minutes sometimes I can get bites. So it just tells me that they've gone straight for the up bait, and that first pickup has converted that fish into a bite, you know what I mean, a landed fish. So yeah, we'll check them spots over. If all the bait's still there, with what I heard last night, then I don't know whether to change. Like, I might have to bring one away from the area, try something a bit different, I'm not sure. Or I think possibly it's just going to be the case of just sticking it out. They just might not have visited that area last night. If the bait's not been eaten, they probably haven't visited it. So hopefully they will visit it at some point. The lads that were on last week, Tony the owner was telling me that it was the lads down the other end, like Pegs 1, 2 sort of thing, where they were fishing. They started off the week catching, and then once they'd caught a few, matey down this end caught, I think he was 3-4 days into his session before he started catching down this end of the lake. And like I say, he had 8 fish, but it wasn't all one big hit of fish. It was just then it trickled a couple of bites sort of thing throughout the end of the trip. Then I think he was getting like 2-3 bites maybe a day, something like that. And but yeah, he ended up on the 8 fish for the end of the week. So hopefully that's going to emulate it. But I'm going to have to check the weather again. But I'm sure it's meant to drop down cold either tonight or tomorrow night, Thursday night. It's meant to drop down cold again. So yeah, that could knock it on its head again. So hopefully, with this little change in the weather today, it's flicked that little bit of a switch, and yeah, we can hopefully monopolise on it and catch a couple of fish, but only time will tell. So yeah, for now I'm going to get a coffee on, keep my eyes on the water, see what I can see. Hopefully, you know, one of these rods goes screaming off and we get a nice big fat French trunk on the bank. Right, so we've had another eventful day again today. We've rolled in today about 11, half 11 it was, because obviously I had to go and get some supplies today, top up some of my drinks and things like that. And yeah, so took the underwater camera around again just to check over the spots. You know, there was quite a few fish out in front of us last night, so I was quite surprised to not get a bite. And then yeah, obviously Steve having one this morning as well, and then nothing had happened throughout the morning. It got spot on for it, and yeah, nothing happened. So yeah, went round, checked the spots that I've got over on the far margin, and everything was still there. There was there's a canopy to the left of where I was fishing on the Saturday. I just trickled a little bit of bait in there as well. That's all still there. My bait boat patch was still there. Like, there's 2 bait boat patches over there, and then I flipped a few boilies right in the middle of it as well, just so, you know, it didn't look so alien. And yeah, the whole lot of it was still there. So I was quite shocked, really. You know, I thought that'd be a perfect little position. It's either they just didn't visit there, or they just haven't fed. Yeah, it's an odd one, to be fair. It got me scratching my head a little bit, because it seems perfect that area does, and with fish showing out in front of me last night, I would have thought that if at least, you know, gone over and had a few mouthfuls at least, but no, it weren't to be. I think his bite came in about 8 foot of water. So what I have done today now is, after checking that, I know something's got to change now. You know, there's no point in fishing up on them on the ledges on the far margin. Pretty much everywhere else, my uncle down in swim 1, he's checked, the bait's still there on the far margin spots. Down in the middle, his bait's still there, hasn't been touched. So it's not like it's just the one area. The fish have been around this lake, and up on that far margin there's been nothing. But Steve's got a winch cam actually on his Deeper Quest bait boat as well, so he's checked over a few of the open water spots for the lads, and the bait hasn't been touched there either. So yeah, whether they just haven't really been feeding due to this high pressure that we've had, you know, they've been sat probably mid layers. I think if we could zig fish, we probably would have had a good few fish on the bank by now, but yeah, zigs are banned on here. You're in 12 foot of water, so I think if we could be putting zigs out, like, you know, between that 8 and 10 foot range, I think we'd probably have a couple of fish by now. But yeah, that's not a possibility. So what I have done now though is I've gone round there, got a marker lead, flicked out, found the bottom of the shelf, but I found a nice flat area that's like between 8 and 7 foot. There's not really much difference between that, and it was over about a rod length and a half distance. So yeah, it's not really much gradient between it. Very presentable. So I thought, you know, I've got 4 nights ahead of me. I'm going to try something completely different, and I'm going to give them a bit of bait. So yeah, I've popped up the marker lead, flicked out probably about 3 kilo all in all at the marker lead to the left and right of it, and just put a good spread of it about out there, a good mix of bait. I've got 12 millers, 15 millers, and I've got some 11 mil pellet in the bucket as well. So yeah, I've gave them a good bit of bait, some different sizes, a bit of different variation. One's a nutty type bait, one's like more of a fish meal, a meaty kind of bait. So yeah, it gives it there's various options there for them. And I'm fishing 3 rods on the spot. Well, I say on the spot, I've staggered them a little bit, so I've gone 22 wraps, 22 and a quarter and 22 and a half, all fishing pretty much where the mark, one at the marker float, one just to the left, a rod length to the left, and one a rod left to the right of it. So yeah, I'm pretty much gonna stick with that now for the rest of the session. Just keep persisted on that. I'm not going to put any bait out. I'm getting the rigs out there with the bait boat still, you know, just be nice and accurate with it. Save doing a lot more casts than I need to. Yeah, so just bait boating them out, but I'm not putting no bait in that bait. There's plenty of bait out there. The last thing I want now is to have that pile of bait. You know, I've got a nice spread of bait around out there, so yeah, well, it should hopefully force something to happen, hopefully force a bit of feeding. You know, it's pretty barren out there in front of me, so the main feature is going to be your bait. If I can get a few of them fish, especially if they were in the area last night, they turn up around here again today, or if they're still there and they, you know, they fancy a bit and they get their heads down a bit, it could encourage more feeding from other packs of fish as well, hopefully. That's my sort of thinking on it. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. I will still keep checking that far margin every day, and if it gets to that point where I've seen it completely wiped out, I can bring a rod length. I can bring a rod back up onto that far margin, onto that marginal shelf, or maybe even 2 rods. It just depends on what's going on now on that baited area that I've done. So yeah, it's one of them. I've got to try and sort of chuck everything at it. You know, we're only here once, and I've got to try and figure it out. You know, I've never fished here before, don't really know a great deal about the place, so I'm just trying to figure out what the best approach is. We've all pretty much been doing the same approach, and there's been one fish on the bank in the last 72 hours, so, you know, clearly, mate, I'm not saying we're getting it wrong, but, you know, there's a lot of factors to take into consideration. The pressure on the lake, the actual weather pressure. It's been really sunny throughout the day. It was quite warm last night, but the other nights it's been cold through the night, cold on the morning. So yeah, there's quite a bit that's been stacked against us in a sense there. But yeah, I think me trying this is just something a bit out of the ordinary, something that none of us are doing, so you can only hope. But yeah, just sitting on them spots up on that marginal shelf and hoping they turn up. You know, I don't think it's going to be the one. I reckon I probably could bore one out like that eventually, but yeah, I'm trying to be proactive, keep working at the swim until I unlock it and find out actually what's the best approach to landing these fish in here. So we'll give it a go. I've gone with, normally, you know, I try to keep with my dumbbell wafters and that. You know, I really love my dumbbell wafters. I do well everywhere, whites and pinks. So I've got a pink one of them out still. I've got like a brown one, so a bit more natural colour, a bit more matchy type, and then I've got a little 12mm pink pop-up as well that's just critically balanced. Still has the hook sitting off, but yeah, I don't need to put no tungsten putty on it or shots on it or anything like that to counteract the weight of the pop-up. It's literally, because it's on a bait screw, it does just sink nice and slowly down, critically balanced, and it sits up off the deck still as well. So yeah, and that's a pink as well. So we'll see. 3 options there, a bit of bait kind of going on. So yeah, we'll just see what happens. Hopefully one starts getting bites and we can change the rest over, or you know, the 22 wrap starts getting bites and we can drop rods back to that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm always working hard when I'm out on the bank. A lot of people, you know, they just want to come out, get their rods out, sit down, and that's it, and hope they catch and whatever. And you know, that works, and it's whatever floats your boat. But yeah, no matter what, I'm always working my hardest to try and land a fish or 2 on the bank. So yeah, I think I'm going to get some food on in a minute. We've just been to Aldi and I've got myself some more of these banging toasties that they do out here. Absolutely amazing they are. So yeah, I think I'm going to chuck one of them on in a minute. Get that down me, have a nice cold drink, and hopefully land a fish soon. The rods are back out fishing now. They haven't been out long, but yeah, fingers crossed. We finally hear them alarms sing. Tight lines. Well, I suppose it's that time for that morning update of no fish on the bank. Steve's had another one this morning. He had a nice, I think it was a £30 common. I didn't actually get down there to get any footage of that one, but yeah, he's had a nice £30 common this morning. But there's still 5 of us that are blanking. Something just doesn't seem right. You know, our spots haven't been touched. The
fish aren't very active. As you can see again, it was a real cold night again last night. We've got a lot of misty fog kind of over the lake. It's literally just starting to lift off now. The sun's just coming up. We're on 9:30, so yeah, sun's just lifting up behind the trees, to be honest now, so that should burn this away, but it makes it so difficult to try and locate them morning feeding spells and stuff like, you know, being able to see any fizzers out there. You can't see a thing when you're first up in the morning, so yeah, it's not too great, but you know, we keep slugging on, we keep trying our hardest to catch one of these carp. Hopefully with this bit of change in weather we've got this afternoon and then through the next couple of days, hopefully that might just be that little switch, you know, just to change that little piece that we need changing at the minute, and yeah, switch these fish on and they finally get their heads down. You know, they've got to get out and feed at some point. They're big old fish, they need to eat, don't they? So yeah, hopefully this weather change will do something and we'll start catching some fish. Fingers crossed. So another day has slowly ticked by with not much to report. Steve had another fish earlier on, a nice, I think it was £51 something ounces, I think it was. So yeah, that's 4 fish he's had on the bank now. He's clearly got the fish out in front of him this session. Nothing for anybody else still. Reeled in earlier, went round, had a check on all my spots out there as well, all the fire margin spots. The bait was still sat there as well. You know, there weren't loads of bait that I put out there, but the areas where there was bait, it's still there. So I just don't think the fish are there, because the bite Steve's been getting as well has been up on that far marginal shelf. So, you know, it says to me they're probably venturing out from beyond that island there, or they're just in and around that area, and he's picking them off. Yeah, even I've got Dan to my left and then Michelle to his left, who's the other side of the island, and Steve's got he's got like a winch cam on his one, and he's been checking their spots, and the bait's still there as well. So I just don't think we've had the fish out in front of us, which is a shame. It's been a great trip though still, nonetheless. You know, it's been nice being out with the lads and Michelle, and yeah, just being nice sitting bankside somewhere different than my local club lakes on the Isle of Wight, where I fish week in, week out. You know, it's been a challenge. But it's been a good time. We just would be nice to bank one of these fish now. You know, there's 4 fish that's been on the vlog, you know, from Steve, but we don't just want to see Steve's fish. I want to see one of my own as well, hopefully in the back of that net. But like I always say, I always try my hardest. I'm always trying anything and everything I can to try and land a fish, but if they ain't there, I can't catch them. But we'll keep plodding on and see how we get on. So, like clockwork, we're on our way to Steve's swim again. Yeah, it's 20 past 10 now, and he says he's put in the group, he's got a 30 comment in the net, so we'll go down and just sort him out and do some pictures for him. But yeah, it just goes to show the fish haven't really been anywhere else this week. There's 5 fish now he's had them out in front of him again this morning. So yeah, it's just stacked against us, to be fair. But yeah, it's fair play for Steve though, he's had a good week. I think that's what, 230s, 240s and a £50 now, so, well, £50 before, but yeah. Well, we'll pop down there and we'll go and have a little look ski. Right, so we're coming up to 6, I think it is now, and yeah, last night Steve just had another fish on his right hand rod, but he's packed all his boat away, which everything's all packed away basically, so he's not putting that rod back out, and he's just had a £40 comment on that as well. And he's just said to me, if I want, I can go down there. You know, he's only fishing 2 swims out to the left, so he says I can go down, drop a rod in that same sort of area where he's been getting the bites. So yeah, I'm just going to go in there for the night last night now, fish 2 rods. I'm absolutely breathless because I'm rushing around trying to get everything done now. But yeah, I've just got the rods out, so I'm just going to pack this down now quick and get down into that swim down there and double up with Steve just for the last night. And hopefully see if we can save this trip and yeah, put one of these chunks on the bank. Come on. Well, Carpers, the last night didn't quite pan out like we hoped it would. Yeah, I had to pack up literally by 7 o'clock this morning because I didn't have a shower all day yesterday, and yeah, I didn't have them. The last shower I had was Wednesday, I believe, something like that. Yeah, no, maybe Thursday. So yeah, I didn't have them Friday, but yeah, I've had to reel in a bit early this morning. We've got a long journey ahead of us, so yeah, I had to go and get freshened up. And there's a couple of Germans that, well, I think there's 3 German lads that are fishing on Lake 2 as well, so yeah. I knew there'd be one in showers this morning as well, so I've had to rush kind of to get the rods in and get round and have a shower and get ready for the journey back. We've got a 3.5 hour drive up to the shuttle, then shuttle over, and then we've got another 2.5 hour drive to Portsmouth, Then pretty much an hour ferry from there over to the Isle of Wight, then back to Steve's, sort all the gear out of his van, back into the car, back to my house, which is another half-hour drive, and then sort all the stuff out into the go. Well, I'll probably do that tomorrow now, to be fair. But yeah, it's been a very, very difficult week. It's been fun, you know what I mean? It's been a nice week. It's been somewhere different. It's just a shame there weren't more fish on the bank, you know. Out of 6 of us fishing on there, which is a full lake, and there's only 6 swims, so we fished a full lake, and yeah, only Steve's caught, and he had a blinding session. He has 6 fish, and the conditions have been so difficult, stacked against us. So yeah, he's done really well there. So hats off to you, Stevie boy, once again. But yeah, we'll see you on the next one. I'm going to be doing a winter campaign down on Forest Pond's bottom lake. So yeah, I haven't fished down there for a good while now. There's been a lot of work doing on there. There's been netted, the stock sorting out on there kind of thing. I think there's only about 60-65 fish in there now. So yeah, it's going to be a good little winter campaign on there, I think. So yeah, we've got that, and then we've got 2 trips next year as well now. We've got Valley Lakes in April, we're fishing Valley Lake 2. And then we've also just booked this week now while we was here, Glory Carp Lake in Holland, which is a bit more of a runs type water. You know, Valley's going to be a difficult session again. So yeah, we thought, you know, we'll have a nice, hopefully this lake can do probably 60 to 100 fish per swim kind of thing for that week. So yeah, we'll see how that one goes as well, but obviously they're not till next year. But yeah, hopefully now, you know, I can get a bit of content coming through, and yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed the watch. Till next time, guys, see you soon.